Hello, and welcome to Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation with me, your host, Jerri Banks. On this show, we talk about all things automation, all things autonomy, and new technology entering into the trucking and the transportation industry. I share traditional truck driving jobs as well as jobs in the autonomous sector, where you can take your current skills and combine them with new skills that you attain and become a game changer for someone's company. And then lastly, on the learning lane, I share actionable tips that you can use right now to help you upskill and reskill and prepare for the new future that our industry is moving into. If you're new here, welcome. Do me a favor and just take a few moments to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications so that you never miss an opportunity when I go live. Today's show is filled with a lot of information, as it always is. But today, I want to, some of the things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about and share an article about Clay County. It's a county in Florida that is considering autonomous buses for their city transport. I'm going to share that. I'm going to share a job in the autonomous sector. So I talk about, because we're a recruiting agency, I talk about traditional truck driving jobs. And then I also share autonomous jobs in the self-driving sector of trucking. And so I'm going to share that, but I'm specifically going to highlight and focus on the desirables, what they're looking for in an individual that's interested in this type of position. And then lastly, in the learning lane, and I want you to stick around because in today's learning lane, I'm going to talk about the downgrading of Class A CDLs to a Class C. So this is drivers that have had a violation in the clearinghouse. It's coming to pass. I did a video in October of 2021 of the second rule that the FMCSA released, and it's coming to pass. So I want you to stick around so that you can learn about, and if you've ever had a violation, if you're prohibited in the clearinghouse, you definitely need to be there because I'm going to share what is going on and how you need to ensure that your license does not get downgraded to a Class C CDL. We'll get started as soon as I come back. I'm Jerri Banks. Our agency focuses on driver recruitment and driver education. We focus on helping drivers and preparing them for the future of trucking and transportation as autonomous vehicles and automation enters the industry. Our goal is to ensure that you are equipped with the skills that you need to be successful in this new way of life. So make sure you connect with me across all of my platforms. Jerri Banks, Autonomous Trucking. I look forward to connecting with you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Look, make sure you are connected with me across all of my social media platforms. I share tips, tools, news, information, business tips if you're a business owner, and tips for your career. Let's get right into it. I want to share an article, and this article is from Action News Jax, and this is out of Jacksonville, Florida, and it's about a county in Florida. And this county, it's Clay County, and they are considering allowing autonomous or self-driving buses in an effort to expand public transportation options. And so there's several areas that the county is looking to bring these vehicles. Two of those areas are off of Wells Road and College Drive, and they're saying that they have a significant population that is in need of transportation due to the geography, it being spread out. And so they've also got a big elderly population and a big retired military population. And so they're saying that they have issues providing their own transportation. This demographic has issues providing their own transportation. And so earlier this month, their officials there, they went up to Orlando to speak with leaders from the autonomous company called Beep. And we've talked about Beep here on the show before. Here in the article is right there, and that's an example of the type of autonomous or self-driving bus that they would be considering. And it may be a little bit larger than that, but that is the bus that they have had in the article. Now, they're considering, again, using these types of autonomous vehicles that don't have an operator on them, that drive themselves, to help to expand public transportation. Now, also in the article, and I'll link the article below, because the news article talks about how they uncovered an engineer who's raising red flags about their plan, the Jacksonville Transportation Authority's plans to bring these autonomous vehicles in the downtown area. The project is called Ultimate Urban Circulator, or U2C. And again, I'll share the article with you so you can take a look and read it yourself. But the former city engineer who raised the red flags, he talks about, and he was the point person for that project. And he talked about how the city should not allow these vehicles on any road, much less downtown. And he specifically says ever. And so the city officials there, they're of course looking into the safety concerns. They're going to review safety, and of course safety, they're saying, is a primary concern of theirs, and they're aware of the current projects. There's other projects of autonomous buses or vehicles in the region, and so they're saying they're aware of those concerns, and they're doing their due diligence. They're going to mitigate and certainly look into hazards and safety concerns before they officially bring in autonomous vehicles or autonomous public transportation into their county. And so far, they're saying they're in the very early stages. They have not spent any money on this, but these are conversations, so still nothing set in stone. But I share these types of articles so that you can see that the conversation is being had. The conversation is being had across the nation in regards to autonomous vehicles. Autonomous also meaning self-driving. And there's so many self-driving software developers that are out there, more than Tesla. We always hear and talk about Tesla, but Tesla is just one of them. You've got Beep on the public transportation side. What we talk about a lot on the semi-truck side in the trucking sector is Aurora Innovation, and I'll talk about a job opening that they have here shortly. We talk about Kodiak Robotics, who's been testing self-driving semi-trucks on the roadways and developing them since 2018, who currently has trucks on the roads operating between Houston and Dallas and El Paso, and Dallas and Atlanta. A lot of these companies are operating already. And so it's important that you're aware. It's important that you know the companies that are out there. And I wrote an ebook, and this ebook, it's a free download. I want you to definitely check it out. I'll drop the link here in the comments. But this ebook, it gives you a good idea, an overview of who the companies are, where they're operating. It's right here below if you want to download it. But it's who the companies are, where they're operating are, what their plans are. For example, Kodiak and Aurora and Waby, their plans are to remove the safety operator in the next year, by the end of this year, going into 2025. And that's going to be on their lane between Houston and Dallas. And so it's very important that you are in the loop. You know exactly what's going on in regards to your industry. Now, again, make sure you check out that ebook. Make sure you get it downloaded, read it, learn more about the autonomy sector, entering into the transportation industry, and more importantly, learn about the things and the skills that you need to be honing in on right now to be able to capitalize on some of the opportunities that are out there. I recently met with one of the leaders in the industry on the trucking side, and she was very adamant in the fact that drivers right now need to be building their skill set if instead of sitting in the cab. And this is what I'm not telling you anything that I don't tell my son. He's in the cab in the evenings. I'm encouraging him to take some online classes. I'm encouraging him to get that associates, get that certification, get that bachelor's. He's got just a little bit left to get his associates. And those are going to be some of the key skills that some of these companies are going to be wanting. They're going to be wanting some type of certification, some type of degree, to be able to tap in, because there are individuals that are already working with a lot of these developers and making well over six figures to be able to add their input, to be able to offer their expertise. So it's not a requirement, but it's a highly recommendation. It's a highly recommendation, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be the person that is sitting in the truck and just monitoring. You want to be the person that's adding value. Work on your data analytics skills. Work on, those customer service skills, those communication skills, those teamwork skills. These are skills that I always talk about, to be able to, that you need to develop right now. Because here's the thing: if AI is doing the work, if the truck is driving itself, what is your role? What is your role? And that is where what we're seeing. We're seeing a shift. And again, it's not a shift that's going to happen tomorrow. It's not a shift that's going to happen overnight. And there's so many sectors that it's not going to touch, but it is going to touch several sectors. Right. And it's so important. It's so imperative that you are prepared and equipped and understand exactly what you need to be doing. When we come back, I'm going to share, and this goes right into what I've been talking about. I'm going to share a position. It's a trucking operations specialist for an autonomous software developer in the trucking industry. And so I'm going to share their requirements of what they are looking for in an individual that's applying for the position. I'm going to share the desirables. And so, as truck drivers, you're not used to these desirable type skills. You're used to requireds. You're used to checking all the boxes. You're used to, getting your reports ran. But when we come back, I'm going to talk about the requireds and the desires that you need moving forward. I'll be right back. When it comes to autonomous trucks entering the trucking and transportation industry, up until now, you've only heard bits and pieces, news here, news there. There's been no centralized place for you to learn about autonomous trucks. Join me every Wednesday and Thursday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time as I share information, news, and education on how you can stay prepared for autonomous trucks and autonomy entering the trucking and transportation industry. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am Jerri, and you are watching the future of trucking and transportation. Make sure you are tapped in with me. Make sure you do me a favor and subscribe right now. Turn on the notifications so you never miss an opportunity when I go live. And also, I am across all the social media platforms, dropping information, sharing gems and knowledge. So make sure you are tapped in with me across all of my social media platforms. Moving right along in the show. But before I do, I want to say hello to everybody on TikTok. Today I'm live on TikTok. Hello, TikTok. Thank you guys for tapping in. Look, I'm either live on TikTok or Instagram across the show in the mornings, and then sometimes in the evenings I'm on live on one of those platforms as well. So make sure you are tapped in. You turn on notifications so you never miss an opportunity when I go live. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about this position. It is a truck operations specialist. And this position is actually with Aurora Innovation. And Aurora is um, it's autonomous self-driving software developer, and they claim that they are making self-driving, delivering the benefits of self-driving technology safely, quickly, and broadly to make transportation safer, increasingly accessible, and more reliable and efficient than ever before. And so they have what they call the Aurora Driver. And so this is a self-driving system, and it's designed to operate in multiple vehicle types. So it's not just designed to operate in a semi truck. It's not just designed to operate in a semi truck. It's designed to operate in passenger vehicles. So we'll be able to in upload this software into our cars. It's designed to operate with ride hailing software, so like Ubers and robo taxis and things like that. Aurora is working with industry leaders across the transportation ecosystem, and so these industry leaders are. And you know them all. You may be working for some of them. And I want you to drop in the comments and let me know if you're working for them. Let me know if you knew that your company is working with a self-driving technology company called Aurora. So the companies that they're working with include Toyota, FedEx, Volvo Trucks, Pacar, Uber, Uber Freight, US Express, Werner, Covenant, Schneider, Ryder. Look, the list goes on. And if you caught that, I just named all of the mega larger companies. They're working with the self-driving entities. They're working with all of them. And so let me know in the comments whether you even knew this or not, whether you even knew your company was partnering and working with self-driving technology developers. And if you didn't, I'm glad you found me. I'm glad you're here. Of course, that's something that your company should be announcing and sharing and telling you. But again, that's why we're here. We're here to ensure that you are aware. You know exactly what's going on in your industry, whether your company is telling you or not. I'm here to let you know. Now, in this role, so what you'll be doing in the truck operations specialist one, okay? There's different levels, but this is the entry level, okay? Now, this again, it is a self-driving company, and I'm about to go over what they require, what you'll be doing, what they require, and what they desire, okay? That's a difference. There's a difference in what they require versus what they desire. And I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to help you understand as a driver, you're not used to seeing that. And so I'm going to help you see that. So in this role, you'll be safely piloting and co-piloting self-driving semi-trucks and other self-driving vehicles. So it could be a passenger vehicle, it could be a ride-hailing vehicle, taxi. You'll be co-piloting or safely piloting on closed courses, testing, and working with their development team. They want you to stay alert. They want you to stay attentive while monitoring the Aurora driver. So you can't be a person that's sitting on TikTok all day. You can't be a person that's on YouTube and listen to podcasts. You have to be alert. You have to be attentive, and that is one of the requirements. Um, You'll be logging real-time data and real-time feedback during the testing because that's going to go to the engineers. And so you have to be good with data. You have to know how to tell a story with data, and that's what a data analyst does. And I've said it many times before. I want you to go to Google, and I want you to Google data analyst classes, data analytics classes, data analytics certifications. Those are mostly free. Those are all mostly free. But what it does is it gives you a certification, and it helps you to lay a foundation of data and understanding data and how to communicate the story of data, because you have so many things, you don't even know it. You don't even know what you have. You don't even know your power. I'm about to tell you your power. You have so many things that you can offer. If you understand and learn data as a truck driver. If you can understand and learn data and be able to tell a story with data, you can make some money. You can be a game changer for somebody's company because your expertise on the road sets you up to be able to take that data and share and tell a story with that data and be able to help software engineers, be able to help these self-driving developing companies. That's priceless. The nugget that I just dropped for you is priceless. So go take one of those free classes. It only takes a couple of weeks. And it only takes you sitting down and tapping in and understanding data, right? Um, Demonstrate positive impact at Aurora is what they want you to do. They want you to stay up to date on knowledge about how their self-driving technology works. They want you to understand the daily software that you use. They want you to understand the operational changes. They want you to work towards the goals, the quantitative and the qualitative goals that impact all of the vehicle operations and their company. And then here's the number one thing that I think that you need to know in this role. You'll have to interact with the public. You are and will be their brand ambassador. So you have to believe in what they're selling. You have to believe in these self-driving trucks, and you have to be able to share this information with the people. You have to be able to help build the public trust. And that is one of the duties in your job description is to be that brand ambassador. Now, the next thing I'm going to move into required qualifications. So we're used to required qualifications. As a recruiting agency, we get a list of hiring guidelines from trucking companies. They let us know, okay, the driver needs to have this much experience. They need to be able to pass the hair or the urine drug test. They need to have no this many points on their MVR. Their DAC report needs to not have this. Like we know the list of requireds, right? But I want you to stick around for the desired because I'm going to talk about the desires here in a sec. But for this position, you need 3 years experience driving trucks commercially. 3 years. You need a Class A CDL, a clean driving record. Let me say that again, because some companies say they want you to have a clean driving record, but there's a little leeway. They say a clean driving record with 0 points. Clean driving record with 0 points. They want you to have excellent communication skills, both written and verbal. They want you to be able to prioritize. These are all things that you typically don't see in the average truck driving post. In the text that you get as a driver, in the emails that you get as a driver on Craigslist, the on Facebook when you see an ad, you don't see being able to communicate and work in a team setting. You don't see being able to prioritize and make strategic decisions proactively. You don't see those things. You see, being able to work overnight. You see being able to drive at night. You see being able to work holidays and weekends. You see, being able to go out a couple weeks at a time, but you don't see the desirables. And so the desirables is what I'm about to go into right now. And by the way, this position pays between $28 to $36.50 an hour. $36.50 an hour, I would negotiate that if I have all of these skills and I meet all of these requirements and some. Okay, I would negotiate the 36.50 if I have well over the 3 years of experience. If I've been a trainer, an instructor, or a mentor, if I have a data analytics background, if I'm really good in customer service, if I can communicate my value, 36.50 is what I will be asking for. Now, if you need help with communicating your value, let me know. Drop it in the comments. I would love to help you tap into this position and help you communicate your value. Now, let's talk about the desirables. So, they want you to have some truck technician experience. My son would be perfect for this role because he has truck technician experience. He can work on the trucks. They want you to have an inquisitive attitude, like always be, interested in problem solving, always be thinking about solving puzzles, experience in operations, experience in technology, customer service, the automotive field, being a team player. These are all desirables. Proficient in G Suite. So G Suite is Google. So your Google Sheets, your Google Docs, your Google Forms, proficient in G Suite. And then interest and aptitude for technology skills. So like gaming, Adobe, apps. Um, Again, that hourly wage range, and this is another thing. As a truck driver, you typically don't get paid for an hourly, you don't get an hourly wage. And that's one of the things that I know drivers have been over the years very, very uh, adamant about advocating for, is getting paid for all the time that you work. So you don't get paid when you're fueling, you don't get paid when you're sitting at the shipper waiting to get unloaded. In this position, it is an hourly pay. Again, the entry level is $28, but if you meet all of those required and desireds, it's 36.50. And so it says that Aurora's pay ranges are determined by role, by the level, and by the location. And so again, their starting base pay will be determined based on factors including job related skills, experience, qualifications, relevant education or training, and market conditions. And it says that the ranges could be modified in the future. So you would also be eligible for an annual bonus, equity compensation, and benefits. So this is all on their website. I'll drop the link to their website here in the description box. Make sure that you check it out. And the website's right there, Aurora Tech. That is their website. Now, when we come back, I'm going to share and talk about the downgrade of Class A CDL license holders and commercial learners permit holders that are in prohibited status. I'll be right back. I'm Jerri Banks. Our agency focuses on driver recruitment and driver education. We focus on helping drivers and preparing them for the future of trucking and transportation as autonomous vehicles and automation enters the industry. Our goal is to ensure that you are equipped with the skills that you need to be successful in this new way of life. So make sure you connect with me across all of my platforms. Jerri Banks, Autonomous Trucking. I look forward to connecting with you. And welcome back. Welcome back. Now, make sure you're connected with me across all of my platforms. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, you turn on notifications, and download us on all of the podcast platforms. Again, I'm Jerri Banks, and this is Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, I want to share, because over the years, our agency has educated, supported, and helped drivers that have had a violation in the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. There's no judgment here. It is a space of helping you to prevent a violation and helping you to understand how to transition out of that violation after being in it. Now, it's been a couple years since we've shared any information on this, but the information is still on our channel. You can go back and look at it, but there is something new that is coming out that I must, because I've been this information location for you in regards to the return to duty process. It's imperative that I share. And the reason why is because our team got at least 5 to 7 calls yesterday in regards to the imminent downgrading of your commercial driver's license or your commercial learner's permit, if you have a learner's permit, to a Class C license. But first, let me just kind of talk about the return to duty process. The return to duty process is a process that you have to go through, and every driver It was effective January 6th of 2020. Every driver had to be registered in the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse by January 6th of 2020. At that time, it gave the trucking companies the ability to go in and see if a driver has ever had a violation, if they've ever failed a drug test, if they've ever refused a drug test, or if they've ever had an actual knowledge violation. And an actual knowledge violation is essentially you were found with marijuana in your truck at a weigh station. You were found with alcohol on your person. It has to be on your person. It's not a suspicion. It has to be on your person. So these are all violations. And I've talked to thousands of drivers and have attended hundreds of trucking schools and spoke at those trucking schools just kind of on a preventative standpoint to prevent drivers and help them understand how not to end up in the clearinghouse and how not to derail your career before it even starts. And that's what a lot of drivers were doing, derailing their career before it even started. And numbers wise, the report comes out every month. It's about 2 months lagging. The report is on the FMCSA website, the clearinghouse website. You can go take a look at it yourself. But right now, we're nearing 300,000 drivers that have had a violation in the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Now, once you get a violation, I'll just be real candid and honest and blunt with you. That can be a showstopper. That can be the end of your career. And no matter how you got that violation, whether you failed the test, and I talked to a young lady yesterday, she was at the drug testing lab and was on the phone and walked out, missed her name being called, and that is how she got her violation. So there's an array of ways that you can get a violation in the clearinghouse, and so our team did a lot of educating to ensure that you knew those ways. Like you can't walk out after starting the getting ready to start the test or after signing in. You can't walk out. You can't get another call from another company and say, I'm going to go with this job. That is a clear violation in the clearinghouse. It ends up becoming a refusal. I don't have to go into the positives. We all know that, if you fail it, you fail it. Right. And so over the years, we've educated, we've shared information about this. And so, again, the return to duty process, after you get a violation, you have to go through a 6-step process. The first step is you get the notification that you have a violation. You have to find a SAP. And my recommendation is to find a reputable and trusted SAP that is out there, because I've had some horror stories on SAPs as well. In our network, we do have a few trusted SAPs that we work with. If you reach out to our team, if you're in need of a SAP, I can definitely point you in the right direction. But again, we have had some horror stories. So you want to make sure your SAP is in the clearinghouse. Your SAP is reputable. Your SAP does not take your money and run and you never hear from them again, because the SAP cost is not cheap. It's anywhere between $450 to, I've seen, $800 to $900. And so it just depends on what your SAP charges and what your situation is. Now, step 2, after you have sent the request, you found a SAP, you sent the request over, you designate a SAP. That they're going to designate you. They're going to accept your request. So at that point, they do an initial evaluation of the driver, ask questions. It's typically virtual. There are some SAPs that still do in person, but the FMCSA a few years ago, after COVID, allowed for a permanent virtual session for the SAP. So you can use a SAP anywhere in the United States. After the SAP does the initial assessment, in steps 2, 3, and 4, they're all managed by the SAP. In steps 1 through 4, you are unable to operate and perform safety sensitive functions, you have to sit down. You cannot drive a truck. If you get caught driving a truck, it's going to be even worse for your license, because the FMCSA is doing everything in their power to keep the roadways and the motorists safe on the roadways. So you must not drive a truck in steps 1 through 4. Now, after the SAP does their initial evaluation, they, ask questions. They determine the severity of your situation. I'm not a SAP, so I'm not qualified to say what all goes into that. But I do know that the SAP will determine what your treatment plan will be. They will determine whether you need to take online classes, whether you need to do group coaching, whether you need to do in-house therapy, whether you need to go to a treatment facility. They will determine that during the questioning and the initial assessment. Once you have completed all of the required treatment plan that the SAP sends you for, the SAP will typically, if they're a good SAP, they're typically going to send you to take a non-DOT urine test. You want to ensure that I've seen drivers that have got a violation, and typically a lot of these are new drivers coming into the industry and not really sure. They didn't hear me talking to them at their truck driving school. They didn't get my message, so they're coming into the industry and they're really eager. They're so eager to get their Class A CDL, and they're ready to go, and they get their CDL, and they're graduated. They have the graduation celebration with their family, and then the next thing they do is they go apply for a company. Well, everybody has a past. Everybody had a life maybe before they got in the truck, right? Or before they wanted to become a truck driver. And so you go through the class, and it is a month. Let's say it's a month. It takes you a month to get your Class A CDL. Well, if you were partaking in extracurricular activities before you were a truck driver, then that may still be in your system. And so what we found was, which is why we started preventative and stopping it before it became a problem for the driver. And so what we found was that drivers were failing at their very first job opportunity. So they would get out of school, they would go to a company, and they would fail the drug test. Or they would get out of school and they would go to a company, and then they would get a refusal because they had another company that was better. And they was like, well, I'm going to go to this drug test and I'm going to leave, but I'm going to go to this other one because it's a better job. And so they would get a violation. And at that moment, it's a career stopper. In trucking, it's a career stopper, a violation in the clearinghouse. And so many individuals were at this place, almost 300,000, over 250,000 drivers. And so that is step 1, 2, 3, and 4. You've got the violation. Now you've gone through the SAP. Now the SAP has said you've done everything. You've checked all the boxes. Now you're determined eligible for the return to duty test. That means that you can go and find an employer to send you to take the return to duty test. But here's where the challenge was. And at this time, our company, and no other company that I know, is hiring any driver that has ever had a violation in the clearinghouse. And so that is where the ball stopped. That is where the buck stopped. And so you had drivers leaving the industry and still sitting in prohibited status. And so when I say still sitting in prohibited status, that means that they cannot operate a truck because they do not have anyone to take them out of that prohibited status. And so they decided to go do something else. I've had drivers tell me, hey, I'm working at the plant. Hey, I went and got my plumber's license. Hey, I'm an electrician now. Hey, I'm doing this now, or I started my own business, but I still want to keep my CDL. And I've had drivers say that, hey, I went and got my diesel technician certification. I'm a mechanic now. So many others, so many of them left the industry. And the numbers show, the numbers show that they did leave the industry. There's 177,361 drivers that are still sitting in prohibited status. Let me repeat that for those of you in the back that didn't catch that large number. 177,361 drivers are still sitting in prohibited status, meaning they are not able to operate a motor vehicle. They are not able to perform safety sensitive functions. Well, effective November of 2024, all 177,361 drivers stand to get their license downgraded. Back in 2021, October of 2021, I did a video and I talked about the ruling that the FMCSA was released, and they were giving the state driver license agencies, the SDLAs, it's like your DMV, where you go get your license. They were giving them until November of 2024 to have their system talk to the clearinghouse and marry each other to be able to know who is prohibited or not, right? And fast forward to today. November 2024 is around the corner, and drivers are already getting the letters. They're already getting the letters from their state driver's license agencies to let them know that, hey, in 30 days from the date of this letter, your license is going to be downgraded to a Class C CDL. Now, I want to kind of talk about that because again, I've had many drivers reach out to us, and I'm going to open it up for you to be able to call our team, and I'll share the number here at the bottom here in just a second. If you have any questions or you need to understand how you can get out of prohibited status, even if you are on a hiatus from trucking, even if whether you're an owner operator, you're your own driver, we can help you understand how to transition out of that prohibited status. If you are part of the 177,361 drivers that are out there still in prohibited status. So fast forward to November of 2024, well, it's July now, but we're getting drivers that are already getting the letter. Texas is already sending out the letter. I've had at least 4 drivers from the state of Texas call, and their question is, what do I do? Am I going to lose my CDL? Do I have to go back to school? And the answer to that is no. You don't have to go back to school if it gets downgraded. But here's my advice to you. You already had the blemish, right? You already have the blemish, which is the blemish on your career, which is the violation. My advice, especially if you've left trucking, is to ensure that you get out of prohibited status. Get out of prohibited status, because you work too hard to get your license downgraded. You work too hard to even go through that process, right? It took you too much time to even, go through a downgrade. It took you too much time to get your Class A CDL. So why be here? You're here, right? But why go any further? Why go any further down that black hole? Because that's exactly what you're going to be doing, going down a black hole where you stand the risk of your license being downgraded. Now, what the downgrade is, let me talk about what the downgrade is. So the downgrade is essentially just like the medical card downgrade. It's very similar. It's not the same, but it's very similar. So for example, if you let your medical card expire, or if your doctor doesn't release you, you have so much time to go back and get it renewed, or go back and get a release from the doctor before that license gets downgraded. It's not a lot of time. So typically on the letters, and there is steps that you can take. You can reach out to, there's a website that I know Texas put on their letter, a website that you can go and learn more on how to get out of prohibited status. And again, we are opening up our lines so that you can reach out to us and ask us questions. I prefer an email. And our email is recruiters@lotrrecruiting.com, and we can help you walk through it. Also, if you need help with a SAP and to understand that. But here's the thing. The reason why the FMCSA has made this rule is because the goal is to get anyone off the roadways that is a danger and a hazard to the other motorists on the roadways. So my advice to you is, if you're out of trucking and you're prohibited, and the reason why you're out is because you failed the drug test and you're not ready to make the change and the lifestyle change and whatever it is to do the right thing, my advice to you is to stay there. I'm just being real. That's my advice. Because it is only going to get harder. This show talks about the future of trucking and transportation. And if you're not serious about preparing for the future of trucking and transportation, then this industry, this transportation industry is not for you. It's not for you. So I hope this information was helpful. I hope that, if at any point in your career that you had a violation in the clearinghouse, that you were prohibited or you are still prohibited, my advice is to get out of that status as quickly as possible, because the downgrade is here. November's like tomorrow. And the letters that I've seen, it's only given them 30 days to initiate the process with a SAP and go through steps 1 through 4, and then go through the step 5, which is the return to duty, to go from red to green. And so if you need to go from red to green, give us a call, shoot us an email. Our team will be able to help you out and give you more insight on next steps and how you can do that. All right, guys, look, thank you so much. The show ended up being a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I needed to be able to share this information with you because over the years, our agency has been the only entity that provided this information, other than being able to go to the clearinghouse, other than being able to, look at the resources on the clearinghouse. But we spent the time to educate ourselves, to reach out to the experts, to inquire with the clearinghouse, to ensure that we're educating drivers on what they need to be doing to prepare and stay out of the clearinghouse. That is the goal. Look, make sure you are tapped into me. Make sure you follow me across all of my platforms. And if you want to be on the show, if you want to share your business, your information, make sure you reach out to me. If you got some great educational opportunities to help individuals reskill and upskill for the future of transportation, let me know. If you've got a job opportunity that you want to share, let me know. I'd love to have you come on the show and share that. Look, you guys have an amazing Thursday. It's Thursday, July 18th. Today is my dad's birthday. May he rest in heaven. You guys have an amazing day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place.